Charlie Parker didn't know anybody until Joe Jonas threw a symbol at his head.
So that's your idea of success, huh?
I think being the greatest musician of the 20th century is anybody's idea of success.
Dying drunk and full of heroin at the age of 34 is not exactly my idea of success.
I'd rather die drunk, broke at 34 and have people at a dinner table talk about me than live to be rich and sober at 90 and nobody remember who I was.
All right, gang, whiplash.
I can play it, okay?
Said not now! If you want the fucking part, earn it.
Alright guys, let's go over this here. And news reports. Alright, let's talk about this here real quick. Okay, let's break this down, guys. I thought Dixie here would hold, but today it broke. Okay? Obviously because of what? ADP. ADP today came out way worse than expected. So bad to the point where we're probably going to get 2 rate cuts, or at least a whole half a basis point rate cut. One of the largest cuts that we've had since the rate cutting cycle in the last 2 years. Okay, so that's actually a lot, because this news is that bad. We go back into, like, let's say the Fed Watch tool here. We can kind of check out what's happening and what's going on. The chances of us getting a rate cut have now increased from, like, let's say 60%, 50% to 90%, right? There's a 90% chance that we're going to get a 50 basis point rate cut. Okay? Because of what's happening and what's going on in the market. Now, this is important because obviously, right? Obviously, that means that markets are going to probably start rallying, understanding that, hey, look, December 10th, we have that rate cut. I'm going to have this little false rally here and then a fall after the 10th. That's what I kind of see happening. So with Dixie specifically, I'm very curious. I do believe that we are going to come back up to the upside, but just not yet. The next target right now is going to be this 2-day zone and this daily zone that just got broken. Okay. So what I do see happening though is Dixie still moving to the upside, but selling off somewhere here. This specific zone right here, you see that? Let me unlock this here. All right, here and here. This is more external, right? So this is the external selling zones. I'm looking at sells here. Okay. What does that mean? Dixie moving up, you're going to see a correction in markets going down. All right, let me put this over here. So what does that mean? John, what does this mean? Big possibility from what I'm seeing, because we had that break today, specifically here, external break of structure. Let's obviously label this here. Okay. That being a BOS basically means we're going to most likely fall to the downside here. Okay. Huge possibility we fall from here. Now, obviously, this thing needs to retrace, come back up. It's going to bring some pressure to markets. But I want to see how price reacts here because I think we could make another low here before December 10th. Then once we get here, December 10th, I'm curious to see how price reacts. But this might be a break of structure here. We might start seeing a turnaround in markets, just considering the fact that we're going to have such a huge rate cut. This rate cut here is what's saving saving stocks and saving everything right now, to be honest, brutally honest. I had this marked up for potential sells here. Has it broken structure yet? No, it hasn't. You know, like we could really look at this here. This is technically still bearish, right? Still technically bearish. It didn't mitigate my zone. It actually hit my stop loss. But this thing is in order flow, right? Like, you see that? Potentially, we still have a move down. Bullish order flow in a bearish market isn't the best, right? So again, I want to see the reaction here. Until we get a BOS here, it is what it is. I did call some buys into this zone here, but there was no price didn't pull back far enough in order for us to get there. We're trading within this range here, and you're going to see that it's normal. We really only have 1 or 2 more weeks until markets are just going to be stuck in the range for the rest of the year. After the 18th, the markets are just kind of stuck in a range. Everybody closes up shop. There's nothing crazy to really trade. Okay? Nothing crazy. Yeah, guys, my bad. So honestly, we're really just stuck in order flow. That's the biggest thing here. Russell, I was kind of thinking the same thing. I didn't really like that it was breaking structure to the upside. Russell starting to retrace back. And I spoke about this on the last call here. I mean, the Fed injected money into the market. A lot of people aren't really aware of that. Okay, I talked about this the other day here. Nobody's talking about this. They injected 13.5 billion into the US banks. You know? Unpublicized liquidity this week. And quietly injected 13.5 billion into the banking system. The second largest liquidity boost since the COVID-19 crisis. A sudden jolt of cash, understanding the Federal Reserve's $13.5 billion move. Banks need cash fast. They either do not have enough cash on hand, face a sudden demand for withdrawals, or see reduced willingness amongst institutions to lend to each other overnight. That means before this happened, okay, there was a huge scare of liquidity. And that was because of Japanese bonds going to, going from 0 to 0.25 overnight. So my prediction here, which was for price to make another leg down, I was expecting price because we closed below structure here to make another wave down. I was expecting SPX to drop at least 7%. I wasn't the only one expecting this. There's a lot of economic indicators that the US economy is very unhealthy. And SPX right now is artificially being pumped by money printing by the Fed already, and we're at the end of 2025. My opinion, markets are going to go down, have a little retracement here. I still believe 63,220 is a target, and then they're going to start printing money all of 2026. I believe the market is now adjusting for that, right? All of this is an adjustment for that. NASDAQ futures is interesting because it looks like it's mitigating, getting ready for another leg down. I don't believe it's over. Usually, when you have big pullbacks, you have a huge swipe of liquidity like this or this. You don't really see that right now. Let's look at the VIX. The VIX looks good. VIX actually looks great. An extension to the upside is about to happen. Potentially. Gold futures still needs to fill. While it may be pulling back, gold futures still needs to pull to the upside. Bonds, it looks like are just accumulating. They're not doing anything. They're going back and forth for mitigations. I'm still in buys with gold. And very much still in buys. Let's look at gold today. This is the pullback for the impulse move to the upside. First take profit, 4,300. First extension profit, I mean. What does that mean? This thing is most likely going to extend to the upside here. It's just consolidating. And it looks like it's getting ready to pump its third wave here, at least. Right? So we're looking for more buys. Tomorrow we're going to trade it in the morning. I'm really honestly looking for the Asian range to do its thing. One thing I don't like on the 4 hour, I mean, this thing didn't close any, like, it had swipes of liquidity, like on the 30-minute and the 1 hour. You see that? This is a swipe of liquidity for sure. Right? But overall, on external structure, it's very much bullish. This thing's going to start extending to the upside. So we're going to be buying gold. USD CAD, let's look at USD CAD. USD CAD looks like it's in a really good buying zone. External structure. It broke all internal structure here. It broke internal structure here. External structure is in a really good buying zone. Dixie. What Canadian news is coming out? There has to be bad Canada news going on Friday. Unemployment change, yeah, really bad. Wow. USD CAD is a buy this week. You see that? Unemployment rate, 7%. This is one of the worst unemployment rates I think Canada has faced in a very, very, very long time, other than COVID-19. This was COVID. Wow. Canada always had really high unemployment rates. The financial crisis got it to like 8% here. The 2008 financial crisis was like 6 to 7%. They felt it a little bit later though. .7 unemployment rate. What do people in Canada do all day? That's crazy. You want to see a break of structure first before you look for buys. I kind of want to look at this here. That pull back here, indecision, run to the upside. That's what I'm looking for. Let's go over BTC, guys. This is going to be a fast stream. I'm not going to lie to you guys. BTC is getting closer to my zone, that indecisional area. Okay. Right here. Broke the order block here. The only price that matters to me the most is this area here. The area between 96 and 94K. This area here, if it doesn't close above this, Bitcoin is 100%. The trade is valid. Bitcoin's going to 75K. So I'm going to be looking for shorts for Bitcoin for sure. Okay, I'm going to drop this here in the global chat here. Okay, let's see this. I'm going to drop this right here. Bitcoin for sure. Gold. I'm still riding off gold buys from down here. Okay, BTC USD, and then I'm looking at, right? I'm looking at gold. GU, I'm not looking at GU. USD CAD. XAU, no, I'm not really looking at any other Forex pairs right now. I'm just looking at Bitcoin right now. I'm looking for Bitcoin sells. MSRT, probably going to come up, fill up that gap. Coinbase, probably going to sell off there. Coinbase broke structure to the downside. With a break of structure like that. No, it actually didn't. Filled. Coinbase is still a sell. Alright. Let's look at Euro or USD CAD. USD Japanese yen. This right here looks like a solid buy. You don't want to catch a falling knife. But this thing here looks like it's about to lift off because it didn't create a lower low. Right? You're going to look for a run, a pullback at an indecision, and an extension to the upside. First take profit here, second take profit here, third take profit would be here around this high. That's what you're going to look for USDJPY. Okay. All right, guys. This is just going to be a quick breakdown. We're going to do some live trading tomorrow. We're going to run it and run it up tomorrow. All right, guys. Appreciate y'all. Love y'all, and I will talk to y'all soon.